Okay, well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Power of the Patch presentation. My name is Gregory Mascari, and I've been involved in marketing alternative health technologies for about 30 years. And tonight I'm going to be speaking to you about a patented breakthrough in wearable light technology. And so, with that being said, I'd like to just lay the foundation with a couple of quick comments. I think, number one, I think most of us can all agree that health is our greatest wealth. If you've ever been challenged with a health crisis or issue, you know what I mean. And number two, the symptoms of aging and disease, they are just not fun. It's whether it's, dental issues, brain fog, joint and muscular issues, fine lines and wrinkles, or maybe it's even worse. Maybe it's cardiovascular. So remember when you could work all day, party all night, and get up the next day and do it again? Well, those were the days, my friend. We did think they'd never end, but as you get older, you realize that's not always the way it is. And that's because the older you get, the faster you age and the slower you heal due to a natural decline in our body's number one repair system, stem cells. And actually, by age 30, they've decreased by approximately 50%. By age 60, only a small percentage remain. And that's why a young lad falls down, skins his knee. 3 days later, the scab falls off. Grandma falls down, skins her knee, breaks her hip, and she's lucky if it ever heals. So I finally figured out what I want to be when I get older. I bet you can guess, younger. Can any of you relate to that? It's not the number of candles on the cake. Hey, aging is a feeling, not a number. So I have two personal questions for you. Number one, if you could change one thing in your health, or maybe in the health of someone you love and care for, what would it be? And number two, what impact would reducing or eliminating that issue have for you or their quality of life? And with that being said, I want to give a general disclaimer. Our LifeWay products are not designed or intended to heal, treat, cure, or diagnose any disease. They do, however, help our bodies get back into a much healthier, regenerative mode, and many times wonderful things then begin to happen. So if I can show you a safe and affordable way to change the trajectory of your aging so you could look, feel, live younger longer, would you be interested? Well, you're in luck tonight, because the good news is our X39 wearable light technology is truly a historic breakthrough in holistic wellness. It's a new patented inexpensible, it's inexpensible, and it's also inexpensive wearable patch. It's affordable, it's safe, it's non-invasive, and it's drug-free, and a patented form of phototherapy which uses very specific frequencies of light to increase and improve your health and wellness while supporting your body's innate ability to heal itself. And I'd like to share with you a short little video that kind of sets the stage and explains who we are and how we're doing this seemingly miracle feat.
An empowered life has no expiration date. We're all created to do incredible things, like conquer summits, catch big waves, and live our passions. As time goes on, our bodies begin to show signs that things just aren't as they used to be. Our energy levels decline, sleep patterns shift, and recovery slows. But our bodies are masterpieces of design, holding the potential to bounce back better than ever. With X39, we achieved something remarkable in the field of wellness and regenerative science that others could not. By utilizing LifeWave's unique patented technology, X39 uses light to elevate GHK-Cu, a copper peptide known to support overall health and wellness. Unlike traditional light therapy, which requires external light sources, X39 uses the body's own infrared light to naturally increase vitality, enhancing the body's flow of natural energy. For improvements in strength, stamina, performance, and overall health and well-being, with the simplicity of an affordable, non-invasive, non-transdermal patch. As we age, levels of these life-enhancing elements, which are associated with wellness and longevity, begin to decline. LifeWave invested 10 years into stem cell research, which resulted in over 70 patents. X39 was born to bring to the public a product that could support wellness in an entirely new way, supporting the production of younger, healthier cells with wearable light technology. Becoming a powerhouse is easier than you think. Harness your body's natural potential to maintain youthful energy and vitality, because life comes at you fast, but it doesn't have to pass you by. Live long, live well, live young. Be the light with LifeWave X39. LifeWave.
Wow. That's such a great video. I love that. It's a new video we've just produced. So let's talk about the power of the patch. And it's based on the science of photobiomodulation. And that's kind of a mouthful, but basically LifeWave patches contain very targeted and specific combination of organic materials and nanocrystals. And when they're applied or near your body, they're activated by the infrared heat or light coming off your body. And then they begin to emit very specific wavelengths of light that stimulate targeted and beneficial biochemical responses within your body. This is the scientific basis of our LifeWave phototherapy patches. This is David Schmidt, our visionary founder and CEO. And David is not only a brilliant scientist and researcher, he's a genius inventor with over 135 patents. And he's been on the leading edge of phototherapy science and research for over 24 years. He's already conducted over 80 clinical studies proving the efficacy of our LifeWave phototherapy products, and many more studies are always in the works. And that's because LifeWave is a pioneer in health science research and life technologies. In fact, it all started back in 2000 when this amazing life enhancing technology was originally developed by David Schmidt, our founder, exclusively for use with U.S. Navy SEALs to increase their battle ready strength, stamina, and performance without the use of drugs, stimulants, or caffeine. In 2004, David founded LifeWave to bring this amazing technology to the masses. In 2010, they set up manufacturing, international distribution, IT, and global customer service in Ireland. And we now distribute to over 80 countries from 16 global distribution centers. And I'm happy to tell you that we have just recently opened our new global headquarters in Draper, Utah, USA. Within our headquarters, we have a state-of-the-art space age welcome center. Actually, it was designed by the set designer of Star Trek, and it is an experience you all will want to avail yourselves of someday. And we hold regular tours there, and it's a life-altering experience for sure. So our focus for the last 14 years has been the field of anti-aging and regenerative science. And in 2019, just 6 years ago, we released to the global market the X39, which many are calling the holy grail of health, healing, and regeneration. Truly a historic and affordable breakthrough in wellness technology. And we're actually doing what the multi-billion-dollar companies and big pharma has not been able to do. And that is, when used in conjunction with proper nutrition and hydration, you need the raw materials. But when you have the proper nutrition and hydration, X39 has been proven to activate a very specific copper peptide that supports and enhances stem cell activity and a host of other things, including altering gene expression towards a more younger and vibrant you. So this is the breakthrough really of the decade. And yes, we have patents. Yes, we have clinical studies. Yes, we have field results proving that X39 is actually turning back your biological clock, helping people to look, feel, perform, and live younger, longer. And for many of us that are, moving on in our years, that's very, very exciting news. So here's some of the benefits you might experience if you choose to try the X39. And number one is energy. And energy is really the currency of life. And using X39 daily leads to an increase of cellular energy that you will probably feel from your very first day. Another is better sleep. And using X39 daily leads to an improvement in the quality of sleep. And most people report that their sleep is deeper and longer and more restorative, waking up more alert in the morning. And how about sports performance? Using X39 improves both sports performance and recovery after exercise. And some X39 users over the age of 50 have reported feeling stronger and more fit than they were back in their 20s and 30s. And LifeWave patches are now used by pro and amateur athletes all around the world in almost every sport. the media has begun to notice, you know what, you might too, if you look very carefully at some of your favorite athletes and Olympians, and you see these auspicious little white patches on their body, and that's LifeWave. How about pain relief? Most people notice a reduction of pain within minutes of application, and truly the pain relieving benefits of X39 have to be experienced to be believed. And brain function. Many report improved memory, focus, and cognitive function with the use of the X39 patch. And wound healing. X39 actually helps support the natural wound healing process and sometimes cutting it in half. Whether it's a minor scrape, burn, or skin of the knee, or a major or minor surgical procedure, you're going to see your body healing a lot faster because of the use of X39. For example, here's some results. This gentleman on the left has only been using the product 8 weeks, and look at the difference in his skin, around his eyes, the color, the tone, and even the light in his eyes. You can just see he's more alert and awake than he was. And the woman next to him, you can see after 4.5 months, look at the difference in her lips, her chin, her cheeks, her neck. And that's because of the age reversal benefits of X39 and the increased collagen production. And down the bottom left-hand corner, this young lad, 6-year-old fingertip was clipped off in a door. The parents rushed him to the hospital, asked the doctor to reattach it, and he says, there's no sense. It's never going to grow back. And I said, please do it anyway. Doctor sews it back on. They start putting X39 on the finger, and 8 weeks later, you can't tell it even happened. Because children heal faster, but who knows if this finger would have ever stayed healthy with the tip healing back on without the use of X39. The last one on the far right there, this gentleman fell through the attic, broke 6 ribs, punctured his lung. Yes, he was in extreme pain. Expected recovery by the doctors was 6 weeks. He was back to work in 3 weeks. And look at the difference from June 17th to June 30th. That's only 13 days. That's like 2 weeks using the patch. Look at the decrease in swelling and the bruising. And he was back at work a week later. Amazing. And here's a woman that had some radiation treatment on her face on June 6th, and you can see the progression of the healing process on through June 23rd, 17 days later. But look on June 30th. This is 24 days later, a little over 3 weeks, and you can't tell the process even occurred. And this is just living proof of the accelerated healing benefits of the X39 patch. How about wrinkle reduction? Any of you ladies concerned about fine lines and wrinkles? I know my wife said that after starting on the X39, she's not so fearful of the magnifying mirror in the bathroom anymore. So we encourage you to take pictures. And this is unlike the pain relieving quality. It's not so noticeable immediately, but over an 8 to 12 week period, you'll be delighted with the changes you'll see in your skin, not only in fine lines and wrinkles, but also there's another phenomenon called remodeling, which reduces the appearance of scars. So take pictures of scars, fine lines, and wrinkles. And after your first couple of months on the product, first 2-3 months, you're going to be delighted with the visual benefits you're going to see. And how about hair growth? We've got lots of anecdotal reports from many users that have experienced an increase in the quality, quantity, and speed of their hair growth. And some even getting their color back and some getting hair back. Some of the guys that get their little balding spots on the back are seeing those decrease and sometimes even going away. So bottom line is youth renewal. The result is a better, healthier, more vital you, whether it's just be able to spend more time outdoors and exercising with your partner, with your grandkids. Again, aging doesn't have to be the number of candles on a cake. It's a feeling that you can have, healthy aging. So here's what a few people are saying. I'm going to play a short video clip here for you for some people on the results they're having with the LifeWave X39 patch.
X39 has really changed my life. I'm not stuck at home in pain in bed. I'm out here with my friends and enjoying my family.
Big thank you to LifeWave for helping me, helping my family, and helping the 100 people now in our team who are using LifeWave daily and their families. Big thank you, Love the products.
And I have energy through the roof.
I sleep better. I have so much more energy.
Throughout the day, I can focus better. I can concentrate in my work.
Our church worship service lasts 45 minutes. For the last 2 years, I've not been able to stand that long. 2.5 weeks into wearing the X39 patch, the pastor said, "You can now be seated." It dawned on me at that moment that, my goodness, I've been standing this whole time, didn't realize it.
After starting using the technology for approximately 2 weeks, my pain completely disappeared.
32 years of pain gone in 3 days.
I just love the products. They just help me to feel younger and younger year after year.
Thank God for X39.
My skin become younger, softer, firmer.
It's been really amazing.
I love X39 because it really helped reduce the inflammation in my knee. I can now run again. Woohoo!
Well, it's not just what people are saying they're using the products, it's what doctors are saying. And I'm proud to tell you, we have hundreds and thousands of health professionals all around the country, all around the world that are using LifeWave products in their practice with their families, with their patients and clients. And we have two of them on the line with us here tonight that I'm going to turn the next part of the call over. The first one is a health, wellness, and marketing expert, Janet Kiefer. And I'm going to pass it over to you, Janet, and allow you to introduce our very special guest doctor that's here with us tonight.
Well, thank you, Gregory. And if you would, stop your share, if you would, please.
Yep.
Thank you so much. And hello, everyone. Welcome to tonight. And yes, I'm Janet Kiefer, Senior Presidential Director and an honored member of the Live Younger team. And Gregory, is it possible to get me on the screen as speaker so we get to see our wonderful Dr. Shauna Young tonight?
I'm seeing you.
I'm not seeing me at all other than up at the top.
Hold on a second.
Check mine.
Let me check.
Okay, if you guys can see me as speaker, I'll keep on going. Great.
They say they can see you?
They're seeing you. Great. Thanks, everybody. So thank you to all who've joined us tonight as Dr. Shauna Young, a naturopathic doctor, is our very special guest. And Dr. Young hails from the beautiful state of Idaho. If you've never been there, it's gorgeous. She, as I said, a naturopathic doctor and is the owner of Assertive Wellness in Boise. She holds a PhD in nutrition, is a published author of 2 books, and twice the recipient of the Distinguished Award of Excellence from the Global Foundation for Integrative Medicine. Dr. Shauna is a recognized speaker and educator in natural health and paleo nutrition, even autism, which I hope she will mention tonight a little bit about that. But for more than 24 years, Dr. Shauna has counseled thousands of people on living your best, healthiest life, and where within LifeWave holds a very prominent place in her healing protocols. Tonight, I'm very excited. She will be sharing her insight on New Year, New You. So welcome, Dr. Shauna. Please open your camera.
Hello, Janet.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I can see you. Great. Great.
Hi, Gregory.
To begin tonight, please share with our Live Younger family, Dr. Shauna, how you were introduced to LifeWave.
Well, number one, when Judy Daniel calls you and says, "I have a product for you," you listen. So that was number one. I've worked with Judy for a long time, but the patches are very natural in my work because I'm a detective, and the reason that people come from all over, we have been honored to see people from all 50 states and actually from 13 foreign countries as well, that have come because they have questions that are not getting answered. So having something that can create a spectacular result is very important to these people and very important to me, because kind of by the time people get to me, quite often they've had enough. You know, they've been to like 10 other doctors and they don't know what's going on, and they're just ready for something to happen. And boy, if you want something to happen, the X39 is the way to go.
Well, we agree with you there. Thank you. And over the time you've been using X39, what health changes have you seen and experienced?
Well, you know, it's kind of funny because, again, this is something that I use a lot in my practice. Being that I'm a naturopath, I'm very focused on nutrition and hydration and exercise and sleep and, you know, all of those wonderful things that a person can do for their body. But over the last 6 years, the weirdest thing happened. I got 6 years older. So I don't know how that worked. But all of a sudden I was like, ah. So now, just like everybody else in the world, you know, we all, as Gregory says, time marches on. But it's not about living older, it's about living better and living younger. And I have had wonderful things happen with my patients. I've had with myself. I just noticed that I don't seem to be changing the way that a lot of people do. I just recently became eligible for Medicare, and they sent me like all of these things of these tests and stuff and things. And I'm like, I don't need any of this stuff. I mean, what, and you know, it kind of brings it home because of what I do for a living. I don't think about being sick, but it really brings it home that a lot of people are, you know, when you start getting all these stacks of materials. But no, the dog and I have both been wearing them for 6 years, and we're both very pleased with our results.
Well, thank you. And I think we can all attest that you look fabulous. And we're going to go deeper in that tonight on A New Year, A New You. But for those of people who may be new with us tonight, maybe this is the first time they've seen the power of the patch, please share, how does one properly wear X39? How long should they wear it? How do you use this thing?
Right. Good question. There's different ways of doing that, and I'll give you those exact things, but let me tell you, number one, hydration.
Yeah.
Okay. The proper way to wear the patch is to be hydrated. 100%. Everybody just repeat out to themselves, write it down on a piece of paper. Okay. Because if you're not properly hydrated, you're doing yourself a big disservice. I've had quite a few people who were like, oh, I don't feel this. I'm not having anything. You give them hydration. Boom. Okay. So number one. The patches generally, you know, I find that if you give people too many choices, they get too many questions and they get paralyzed, you know, and they don't do anything. So we tell people very often to wear the patch on the back of their neck. It's where you bend your head and you can feel that little vertebra, and it's kind of right below that. Or some people like to wear it just below their belly button. But to be honest with you, with the X39, we wear them all over the place. You know, sometimes I find for myself, I get a stiff back just from, because I sit for a living, and I'll be sitting. And if I put my X39 either below my belly button or on my back, it seems to help, you know, with that general feeling of any kind of achiness or anything like that. We use the patches together, of course, you know, various ones. But really, the X39, the most important thing about it is that you get it on you. But you do want to give it a break, though, and it's to avoid what's called attenuation. Excuse me, too many patients today. It's like, you know, when an alarm goes off, right? A telephone starts ringing or something like that. You immediately say, oh, I got to go answer the phone. You know, phone's ringing. But if the phone just keeps ringing and ringing and ringing and ringing, eventually you get used to it and you don't even hear it anymore because it loses its ability to alert you that something needs to happen. So we like to give the patches a break so that we avoid that attenuation, so that every time you put a fresh one on, it goes charging in there like 12 horses again.
Thank you so much. If I may go back just for hair, I think you said something that seems simple but incredibly important about water. And I know many people I work with, deal with, just go, I don't like water. I don't like drinking water. And I think a lot of, if people are drinking tap water, I understand that. With your background, PhD in nutrition, what kind of water would you recommend?
I do not recommend distilled. A lot of people, you know, because that takes the minerals out, and it's impossible to be hydrated when you don't have enough minerals. So I try to not get too tricky about water in a lot of ways. I think a filtered water or even reverse osmosis water or something like that is fine. But to be honest with you, Janet, I like to concentrate on things in layers. And I don't want people to start thinking about their water so heavily that they're spending more money on their water process than they are, the rest of their health. But yeah, just a reverse osmosis filtered is fine. You don't need to get too crazy with it. Although I think we're all looking forward to some new water that we've been hearing about.
Thank you. That's a little hint if you're new with us tonight. Thank you. And Dr. Shauna, here we are in December, 2025 will soon dawn. And I love your topic for tonight, New Year, New You. And so I would love you just to share with our listeners kind of what you mean by New Year and New You.
Okay. A lot of people have gotten somewhat focused on the X39 with its incredible properties. I mean, with good reason.
Yes.
The thing is, I've said it a million times, it's magic, it's miracle, and so we get focused on that. But what I do with people, very often people come to me because they can't figure out what's wrong. But once we get through that and we get them into a different place in their life. So here I've got somebody that very many of my patients are in their 50s or 60s or even their 70s and older and stuff. And they're eating very, very well. And they're hydrated and they're exercising and they're sleeping and they're doing all the wonderful things they need to do, but they're still 65 or they're still 70 or they're still, one of my favorite ones lately is this lady. She's 72 and she's lost 50 pounds and she looks amazing and she's totally, fixed her diet. She has all this stuff. And she's playing tennis a couple of times a week. It sounds perfect. But she said, what do I do? What can I do? I'm so excited now. I feel so great and I've got my diet dialed in and I've got all these great things. And what do I do? And I said, you want to be Marilyn 2.0. And she said, yes. So I said, guess what? I got something for you. So when you want to take yourself and even when you're doing everything for yourself, time still marches on. And so what this can do is to take that time process and march it the other direction. Because I'm tired of it coming this way and I want to make it go that way. So that's what we're trying to do and what I encourage people to do, because this is something that it's never going to stop. This is not something that you do until it kind of fixes something and then it doesn't do anything. There's never going to be a point where the X39 stops working. There's never going to be a point where the X39 is not creating more and more and more and more benefit in your life. And it doesn't matter if you're 15 or you're 90, it's still going to create benefit and it's still going to continue on doing that. So I feel that a lot of people are feeling some optimism and feeling things. And so I think that one of the things that you can really do for yourself in 2025 is say, who do I want to be? Who am I and who do I want to be? And if you want to be younger and you want to be living your best life and living in your better self, then we're in the right place.
That's wonderful. Oh, really well said. I love the U 2.0. That's a good theme for coming up. And we spoke a little bit earlier and you talked about those 3 stages. You're introduced to maybe you and your practice in the life wave and there's those early results and we get excited and then time goes on and you maybe fix the problem. And I know for a number of us, we've had people go, well, it's not doing anything anymore. And I think your point is here, it's really long-term health that maybe this is an insurance policy. And we know the X39 really does reverse age our cells that way. But many of us, are speaking to people in their 40s and 50s. They want to live longer. They want to feel great, right? I know back in my 40s, I wouldn't even thought anything was wrong. But what do you say to the folks who are like, I'm healthy, I don't have any pain. I don't need this. You see those people in your practice. So how would you explain it?
Well, number one, you're healthy, you're not bulletproof.
That's a great quote.
I mean, and I tell people that every day, because you just don't know. And you don't know always. Like, not to be a downer, Debbie Downer here, but a lot of times what doctors tell you is the first sign of like heart problems is like death, you know what I mean? Because most people don't feel anything. And so even healthy people have got things going on. Even healthy people have to breathe our air. Even healthy people have to drive their cars. Even healthy people have to be around 5G towers. And even healthy people have to be. And so I'm wearing armor. Okay. If I can put a little patchy poo on my neck and put on a suit of armor, I'm doing it. And in my case, I'm 65, but even if you're 30, you still have to live with all of this toxicity, and you still have to live in this world that we live in. And there's literally no downside to having your body function in a younger and healthier fashion. There is no downside to having these healing properties that are constantly flowing through your body.
Oh, I just love that. I may write on my patch, suit of armor. So when people ask me, what am I wearing? I'm wearing my suit of armor. That's wonderful that way.
And on there, Guinevere. Yeah. Somebody said to me the other day, she was looking, thing for a check or whatever, and she had my driver's license. And she looked at it and she said, "Oh, happy birthday." My birthday was just in September. And she looked at it and she goes, "Oh, happy birthday." And then she handed it, and then she looked at it again and she goes, "Have you got a fountain of youth at home or something?" And I said, "Nope, it's right here." And she goes, "Wait, what was that?" And she kind of, turned around, she looked at the patch, and it was such an, for her to understand that I was doing something for myself. That was so easy like that. I actually sent her a video about the product, but you just never know. But for me, wearing my fountain of youth, people, they all want it. We all want it. And I agree with you. When you're 40, you're almost as bad as when you're 20. You think you're bulletproof and you're going to live forever and you're never going to have anything wrong and all that kind of stuff. And thank you, God, I'm still at my age. I'm feeling very, very good. But I'm telling you what, I bet you a lot of that is, always having my X39 and always putting, as I said, that suit of armor on that I can wear all the time.
That's wonderful. I hope all of you out there are writing down these nuggets that are spewing out of Dr. Shauna. They're great, that's for sure. So just wrapping up here, Dr. Shauna, as we say goodbye to 24 and we're entering 2025, and from your background as a naturopath and also the background in nutrition and all your expertise, just what are some key tips for all of us to thrive through the holidays and really turn the corner? What tips would you say for next year would be really helpful for everyone's health?
Well, I'm going to reiterate David Schmidt, which is always a good idea, and talk about nutrition because it's very important. So I'm going to say to everybody, read your labels, and make sure you're getting your hydration, you're getting your minerals, that you're sleeping, that you're keeping an attitude of life that you want, keeping that vision of what you want in front of you, and not worrying about the calendar so much and worrying more about where you are and how you feel and what you want. And I just think that and then do everything you can for yourself. There are so many people that create this defeatist attitude. Well, something's going to get me. It doesn't matter if I drink, poison because something's going to get me. Well, why help it? I mean, it's like I go out of my way to try not to let the boogeyman in, So as long as you're doing, it's really honestly, my patients say it constantly. It's not rocket science. It's about putting a good grade of gas in the car, putting a good, trying to keep all of those things in your car, and then arming yourself with anything that you can to keep your body working as youthfully and as well and as well oiled and as functional as you possibly can. And,
Oh, thank you.
and as we all know, that is the X39 goes a long way towards that.
I love your enthusiasm. So everybody, this new you in this new year, do know every day you put on the patch, it's clinically proven you're reverse aging. And no one would think Dr. Shauna is her age. I'm sure of that. Yes. So thank you so much, Dr. Shauna. And she also, I'll come in, she and Robin Blank Mascari had 2 years of these wonderful discussions that are probably on the Live Younger YouTube channel. And I know you've given us a lot of wonderful tips here, some great nuggets, which I'm going to use. So as we wrap up, tonight's the last broadcast of the Power of the Patch Showcase for this year. There'll be more, but for this year. And as there will be no broadcasts on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. So I know myself and my fellow interviewers join me in thanking Robin and Gregory, and also all Dr. Shauna, you and all the wonderful doctors and practitioners that you give us your time and your insights so willingly every week to come here to share this wonderful message. And so again, we just thank you all so much. And
Live Younger is a great team. I mean,
Yeah.
this is the greatest team in the world of the people that we are honored enough to work with. So
Thank you.
I just want to wish my LifeWave family all love and beautiful wellness and happiness and the best 2025 that anybody could have.
Thank you, Dr. Shauna. There you go, Gregory.
Oh, well, thank you both because you gave us some really good tips to make 2025 the best and adds a new dimension of the power of the patch. It's our suit of armor, you know, and I love the idea of it's like health assurance as opposed to health insurance. So many people just rely on health insurance and take their car to the garage and their body to the doctor. And you got to take your health and wellness into your own hands. And that's an opportunity you have with the LifeWave technology. So I'm going to go ahead and share some additional information about the growth that companies had, which has been absolutely astounding. We've actually grown 3,000% in the last 6 years. And let me share my screen. This slide needs to be updated because this slide goes through 2023. Now that we're closing out 2024, last year we did about $400 million in sales, and that was a 20x growth in 5 years. Well, this year we're doing about 600 million, which is a 30x growth in 6 years. And that's a 20-year-old company growing at this rate of speed. And I'm happy to tell you, a majority of those sales, over 50% of those sales, are the X39 patch. Folks, that is a clue. So I just like to, share a little bit more about the company and invite you to get started with us. Right now, we are the fastest growing direct selling company in the world for 4 years in a row. That's another clue. And there is a tremendous business opportunity here because nowadays everybody's looking for a plan B, secondary income in this gig economy. And we're looking for people to help us get the word out on our patented exclusive products. We have no competition. We have a simple, duplicatable success system. We have free websites, training, and support. We have a very low cost of entry and the satisfaction of being rewarded for making a difference in people's lives. We also have a very, very powerful and simple compensation plan. So, in addition to being a rock solid, debt free 20-year-old company doing business in 80 countries, LifeWave has a time tested, balanced, and well structured compensation plan that generously pays out 50% of all sales to brand partners. David Schmidt, 20 years ago, strategically chose this channel of distribution through direct sales as opposed to going the pharmaceutical route or the health food store route or Costco. And the savings that he's experienced, he passes on to us. We really are the marketing department for this company. So let's talk about the ways to get started. We have 3 ways to get started. And we encourage you to just choose one and go for it. But the first is a retail customer. It's a good way to start. It's only $149.95 for a 1 month supply of X39. That's like a latte a day, and then you may choose to become a preferred customer, which is even better. And you can save 33%. The price drops down to $99.95. You save $50. And that just requires you get on our monthly auto ship program. We encourage everyone to commit to at least a 90-day run with the products. So you get this discount on all your purchases by being on our subscription auto ship program. The good news is there's no long-term commitment. You could sign up tonight, next week decide you no longer want to be signed up. You could cancel your auto ship and you still save $50 on your first order. And it all comes with a risk-free 30-day money-back guarantee. Now, the best way to get started is a brand partner. And as a brand partner, you can get paid for sharing. You can earn a part-time or full-time income, generous personal and team rewards, and get paid weekly for the work that you and your team are doing. We have 3 brand partner starter kits to choose from, and they also have a risk-free 30-day trial. I'd like to briefly show you those 3 starter kits. We have the core, the advanced, and the premium. Now you can sign up and enroll for $25, but it doesn't come with any product. The $295 includes a starter kit. It saves you $28.50 over the wholesale price. It saves you $154 over the retail price, so significant savings. Our advanced pack, which is $535, it also includes a starter kit, saves you $89.70 over wholesale and a whopping $389 over the retail price. So significant savings and opportunity to reap those rewards and benefit. The best way to get started is with one of our premium packs, which also includes the starter kit and saves you $249 over wholesale. So you're actually getting $2,000 worth of wholesale products. You're getting $3,000 worth of retail products. So it's saving you $1,250 over retail. So the significant income can be earned by purchasing the advanced or premium package and selling the products, in your neighborhood to your friends and family. I'd like to close by just sharing you one little short additional video that we just recently produced.
A life empowered is closer than you think. We're all looking for a better way. Reimagine what's next with a new sense of exuberance. Why not power on like you mean it? Or power off blissfully? A better sleep is a better awake. You've never moved like this before. With the energy nature intended. Imagine reprogramming the way you look at the speed of science. At longevity. At exhilaration. It's next level rejuvenation. Take control of your well-being from the inside out and outside in. The light within is ready to ignite. Be the light. LifeWave.
Be the light with LifeWave. Well, I want to tell you, for my wife, Robin, and I, LifeWave has been an answer to a prayer. Every day we hear miracle stories. Every day we're enhancing and changing people's lives. And every day we and thousands of others around the world are enjoying the blessings of health, vitality, lifestyle, a wonderful community, and financial freedom. So the next step is first for me to say thank you and for you to get back with the person who invited you to get your questions answered. We invite you to commit to try X39. And with our risk-free 30-day guarantee, you've got nothing to lose and your health to gain. And you too can start enjoying an enhanced quality of life, changing the trajectory of your aging and maybe your finances too. So join us, share the good news about X39, and join our global wellness community. So with that being said, I want to thank you all for being on this Power of the Patch webinar. You can see a replay of this at popwebinar.com, popwebinar.com, and you can share with other friends and family. And we thank you for taking time out of your busy lives to be with us. This is Gregory Mascari signing off and wishing you the best that life and LifeWave has to offer. Bye-bye, everyone.